A spark in the shadows. Dahlia and Tessa both looked up in shock at the flickering lantern that hovered a few inches above Tessa's head. A faint blue glow shimmered around the edges. Magic, whispered Dahlia. Growing up with her grandmother's stories about mystical beings and the dangers of enchantments, she had never really believed them. Magic, echoed Tessa, glancing at Dahlia with wide eyes. The blue light bathed Dahlia's face, and she thought she could see the same sparks dancing in Tessa's bright blue eyes. The lantern still looked menacing as it dangled above Tessa, so Dahlia felt a wave of relief when it floated to the side and crashed to the ground, extinguishing the glow. Whoa! Tessa breathed, her hands trembling slightly. Dahlia quickly joined her on her feet. Magic, Tessa repeated, her smile growing. I have magic. She rushed over to Dahlia, picking her up and spinning her around, deftly avoiding the piles of scattered books on the floor. Can you believe it, doll? Honestly, Dahlia could. Tessa had always radiated a unique energy, ever since middle school. It didn't surprise her that Tessa could wield magic. As Tessa set her down, she continued to spin, exclaiming, I mean, you saw it too, right? Oh, I love you so much. It's magic. It was glowing and floating and… Tessa suddenly froze, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. I'm magic. You're magic, Dahlia agreed, though she had always known it. So, how did your parents react to the broken lantern? Dahlia picked at her jacket nervously. They took it better than the I'm a lesbian talk, but worse than when I got my hair dyed blue, Tessa said, skipping along. It was all Tessa and Collins. That was your gray tants. And did you tell them about the magic? Shoo. Why? Tessa laughed, as a group of younger students swarmed around them like a school of fish, weaving through the two upperclassmen. Nobody would take this seriously anyway. Dahlia rubbed her arms anxiously. So did you. Tessa giggled again. No. Who would believe me? I did try to make it happen again, but it didn't work. I think it was just the adrenaline. She pulled Dahlia close. Guess what I think? Dahlia shivered. What? We should go looking for adventure tonight. What? Like let's hang around after the football game. You know how some guys act up with the cheer squad? We could stop them. Dahlia felt her heart plummet. What? You had magic once. And now you think you're some sort of superhero. Tessa grinned. I just feel different. Powerful. I want to make a difference. No way. Not happening. This is the worst idea ever. This is the worst idea ever, Dahlia whispered, shivering. You didn't have to come, Tessa said with a playful smirk. Of course I did. I literally said if you don't want to come, don't come. Honestly, huffed Dahlia, her cheeks flushing. I wasn't about to let you go alone. SHHHH. I hear something. Both girls crept away from the tree they had been hiding behind and moved toward the edge of the bleachers, where they spotted a couple, a boy and a girl. Babe, not here. You're drunk, and we'll get in trouble, the boy said, trying to distance himself. Is that Jake Harrison? Dahlia hissed in Tessa's ear. Who's Jake Harrison? Tessa whispered back. He who may or may not have been Jake held up his hands defensively. Sophie, the girl, presumably Sophie, placed her hands on her hips. Come on. Aren't you man enough? Jake groaned. Sophie, don't be like this. I just don't want to. Are you saying I'm not hot enough? Don't tell me you're thinking about that cheerleader. She's just in my history class. You know I care about you. Then prove it. Sophie lunged, trying to kiss him, but he pushed her away. Dahlia shivered, both with cold and with fear. Sophie was the captain of the cheer squad and had a reputation for being fierce, known for her temper during games. Dahlia froze, watching as Sophie aggressively tried to pull Jake closer. To hell with this, Tessa declared, leaping toward them. Back off. Caitlin, screeched Sophie, and she lunged at Tessa with the unpredictability of a tipsy athlete. Dahlia's heart dropped, praying that if Tessa really did have magic, it would show itself now. She reached out in a desperate attempt to help her best friend when suddenly, a shimmering blue aura enveloped Tessa. As Sophie reached her, she instantly bounced off, flying across the field. Dahlia, Tessa, and maybe Jake stood in shock, watching as Sophie landed hard on the grass. Jake turned to Tessa, still surrounded by the glowing aura. Who are you?" he stammered. "Never mind that," Tessa said, still in awe of what had just happened. "Call someone to help her." Bye." Tessa hurried back to Dahlia's side. Once they were out of earshot, Tessa squealed. "Did you see that? I totally have magic, doll. I'm going to be an amazing superhero." Dahlia felt faint. She hoped Tessa was scared too. "I feel alive. I need to do this every night. We don't even know what I can do." "Exactly," Dahlia countered. "We don't know your limits. You could get seriously hurt." Tessa waved her off. "Did you see what I did to that jerk? Just imagine if I really meant to." Dahlia sighed. "Just don't go looking for trouble again. At least figure out what you can do first." "Tessa, I was trying to channel my powers earlier. I was mad. I thought it would work. But they only trigger in situations where I might get hurt, like with the lantern. I have no choice," Tessa declared dramatically. "I must become a heroine." "Please," Dahlia pleaded. "Just be careful. At least stay hidden. Don't let too many people know." "Look," said Tessa, grinning. "The spark made it into the local paper." Dahlia obliged. The photos were terrible, resembling something out of a conspiracy theory. "Nice. Too bad you're not in any of them," Tessa teased. "I keep telling you, we could always get you a costume, and you could be my sidekick." "No thanks." Dahlia shuddered, then yawned. She had been out every night with Tessa since rumors about a superpowered protector started circulating, and the locals dubbed her the Spark. "I know I shouldn't let this go to my head, but it feels amazing to be appreciated." Tessa's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Ready for tonight? I hear there's a party at Mia's place, and I want to keep an eye out just in case." Dahlia must have looked annoyed, because Tessa's expression fell a little. "You don't have to come, of course. I'd understand if you wanted to skip." No, Dahlia said hastily. "I'm going. I would go anywhere with you." A blush crept onto her cheeks, and she hoped Tessa wouldn't notice. "Ah," Tessa said, her teasing tone clear, even without seeing the blush. She leaned in, kissing Dahlia on the cheek, leaving her feeling dizzy. "I knew you would. You're the best." "You're the worst," Dahlia spat playfully. "I'm just trying to look out for you." Tessa protested. "I don't want you to get hurt." "I'm not going to get hurt. I have my powers." "Oh, please. You still don't know how to control them, and it's been weeks." "I've done the research," Dahlia said, holding up a printout for the umpteenth time. "Every time our team loses a home game, reports of violence go up by 16%, and at least 4 people end up in the hospital right after. It's too dangerous. Somebody has to help, but that somebody doesn't have to be you. The police can handle it. They're trained for this. People look up to me. I have to try." "No, you don't," Dahlia begged. "You've seen the comments online. You've made enemies, and I'm scared they'll hurt you." "They can try," Tessa said boldly. "They'll succeed," Dahlia screamed. "You're going to get yourself killed with all this recklessness." Tessa stared at Dahlia in shock, and in that moment, Dahlia realized she had never yelled at Tessa before. An electric tension filled the air between them, and for a fleeting moment, Dahlia feared it would trigger Tessa's powers. "Fine," Tessa replied, her tone clipped. "Don't follow me then." "Fine," Dahlia shot back, her voice shaking. "I wasn't going to anyway." Tessa turned and dashed away, leaving the spark within. Dahlia and Sam both looked up in shock at the chandelier. that hovered a few inches above Sam's head. A red glow shimmered around the edges, illuminating the library's ancient books. "Magic," whispered Dahlia. She'd grown up hearing stories from her grandmother about the wonders and perils of witchcraft, but she never truly believed in it. "Magic," echoed Sam, gazing at Dahlia stunned. The red glow cast a warm light on Dahlia's face, and she thought she could see the same red sparks dancing in Sam's bright green eyes. The chandelier still looked ominous dangling over Sam's head, so Dahlia felt a wave of relief wash over her when it floated to the side and crashed to the ground with a resounding thud. She sighed as the red glow fizzled out, leaving only silence in its wake. Sam stood up shakily, and Dahlia joined her, brushing dust off her dress. "What just happened?" Sam asked, her voice trembling slightly. I think you just showed some kind of power," Dahlia replied, still in disbelief. She had always thought Sam was unique. Ever since they were kids, Sam had a way of making everything seem more vibrant and alive. It didn't surprise her that this magic was somehow connected to her friend. "I mean, I can't believe it either. I just felt this rush," Sam exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Can you believe it, doll? I've got magic." To be honest, Dahlia absolutely could. Sam had always had a certain aura about her. She seemed to glow with an energy that drew people in. It made perfect sense that she would discover something extraordinary within herself. Sam spun around, her excitement palpable. "I mean, you saw it too, right? It was glowing and floating in." She suddenly froze, her eyes locking onto Dahlia's. "I'm magic." "You're magic," Dahlia affirmed, although she had always known it in her heart. "So, how'd your parents take the news about the broken chandelier?" Dahlia asked, picking at the hem of her dress to distract herself from the surreal moment. "They were okay with it, I think. Better than when I told them about my bi-identity, but worse than when I gave myself a terrible haircut," Sam said, skipping along the aisles of the library. "It was all Samantha Louise Johnson. That chandelier belonged to your great-grandmother." "And did you tell them about?" Dahlia hesitated, glancing around to ensure they were alone. "The magic," Sam laughed, clearly enjoying the drama of the situation. "No way. Who would believe me? I tried to make it happen again, but it didn't work. I think it's because of all the adrenaline." She pulled Dahlia close, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. "Guess what I think?" Dahlia shivered, a mix of excitement and fear. "What?" "We should go looking for trouble tonight," Sam declared, her eyes gleaming. "What? Like superheroes?" Dahlia asked, her heart racing. "Exactly. We should stick around after the football game. You know how guys can be? I want to stop them from messing with the dance team. I want to protect everyone." Dahlia felt her heart drop. "What? You think you're a superhero now?" Sam grinned. "I feel powerful. I want to make a difference." "No way. None. This is the worst idea ever." Dahlia shook her head firmly, her stomach churning. "This is the worst idea ever," she whispered, the weight of fear pressing down on her. "You didn't have to come," Sam teased, an impish glint in her eye. "Of course I did," Dahlia huffed, her cheeks flushing. "I wasn't going to let you go alone." "Shhhh. I hear something," Sam interrupted, her voice dropping to a whisper. Both girls sneaked away from their hiding spot in the library's corner and crept to the edge of the bleachers, where they spied a couple, a guy and a girl. "Baby, not tonight. You're drunk, and this is a public place. We'll get in trouble," the boy urged, trying to escape the girl's grasp. "Is that Eric Murphy?" Dahlia hissed in Sam's ear. "Who's Eric Murphy?" Sam whispered back. He who may or may not have been Eric held up his hands in surrender. Jessica, the girl, who Dahlia guessed must be Jessica, stood with her hands on her hips. "Come on. Aren't you man enough?" Maybe Eric groaned. "Jess, don't be like this. I just don't want to. Why not? Aren't I hot enough? Don't tell me you're thinking about that girl from class, she accused, swaying dangerously. She's just a classmate. You know I only love you. Eric pleaded. Then prove it. Jessica stumbled forward, trying to kiss him, but he pulled away, visibly distressed. Dahlia shivered with cold and fear. Jessica was the captain of the basketball team and had a reputation for being aggressive. A memory flashed through Dahlia's mind. The last championship game, where Jessica had been disqualified for a brutal foul against the opposing team's center. Dahlia's stomach twisted as she watched Jessica lunge drunkenly toward Eric, attempting to unfasten his belt. To hell with this. Sam suddenly jumped up, charging toward them. Get away from him. Who the hell are you? Jessica screeched, lunging at Sam with the wild energy of a drunken athlete. Dahlia's heart dropped as she instinctively reached for Sam, desperate to protect her friend. But just as Jessica reached Sam, an aura of shimmering red energy surrounded her. In an instant, Jessica bounced off and flew across the football field, landing with a thud. Dahlia, Sam, and perhaps Eric stared in disbelief as Jessica lay motionless in the grass. Who are you? Eric stammered, glancing at Sam, who was still glowing with that staticky red aura. Never mind that, Sam said, still stunned by the sudden turn of events. Call a friend and get yourself home safe. And probably check on Jessica, I guess. Bye. With that, she hurried back to Dahlia's side. Once they were out of earshot, Sam squealed. Did you see that? I totally have magic, doll. And I'm going to be a superhero. Dahlia felt faint. You could get seriously hurt. I feel alive. I need to do this every night. Who knows what else I can do? Sam exclaimed, her eyes alight with enthusiasm. Exactly, Dahlia insisted, trying to ground her friend. We don't know your limits. You need to be careful. Sam brushed off her concerns. But did you see what I did to that creep without even meaning to? Just imagine what I could do if I actually tried. Dahlia sighed, torn between admiration for Sam's courage and fear for her safety. Just don't go out looking for trouble again. At least figure out what you can do first. Dahlia, I was trying to use my powers earlier. I was so mad, I thought it would work. But they only trigger in situations where I might get hurt, like with the chandelier. I have no choice, Sam declared dramatically. I have to become a heroine for this town. Please, Dahlia begged. Just stay hidden. Don't let too many people know. Look, Sam grinned, pulling out her phone. The spark made it into the local paper. Dahlia took the phone, and her heart sank at the grainy images. They looked like something out of a poorly made movie, complete with dramatic captions. Nice. Too bad you're not in any of them, Sam teased. I keep telling you, we could always get you a costume, and you could be my sidekick. No thank you. Dahlia shuddered, a mix of embarrassment and fear washing over her. She didn't want to be part of this dangerous game, even if it was exciting. I know I shouldn't let this go to my head, but it feels good to be appreciated, Sam said, her expression softening. You ready for tonight? I hear there's going to be a party at the Dunsts, and I want to keep watch, just in case. Dahlia must have looked annoyed, because Sam's face fell a little. You don't have to come, of course. I would understand if you didn't want to go. No, Dahlia said hastily. Of course I'm going. I would go anywhere with you. Her heart raced as she felt warmth creep into her cheeks. She hoped Sam wouldn't notice. Ah, Sam cooed, her grin returning. She leaned in and kissed Dahlia on the cheek, making her stomach flutter with excitement. You're the best. You're the worst, Dahlia shot back, a teasing glare in her eyes. I'm just trying to look out for you, Sam protested, rolling her eyes. I don't want you to get hurt. I'm not going to get hurt. I have my powers, Sam insisted. Oh, please. You still don't know how to use your powers, And it's been a month. I've done the research. Dahlia held up a printout for the umpteenth time. Every time our team loses a home game, domestic violence reports go up by 16%, and at